All right, guys, and here we go. Chapter 1, Why We Ain't Women. Of course, and when I say we, I'm talking about men. Please allow me a second to close my motherfucking window. Dudes with their loud ass motorcycles drive me crazy. So let's get to it. In order to help guide you guys through this chapter 1, my niggas, I am going to use my good friend ChatGPT just to start. I want to base most of this off of science and logic more than just opinion. Of course, I'll have some opinion in there, but it's definitely going to be mostly based on science and logic. So, let's start with what ChatGPT says, because I asked about the differences between men and women historically throughout human evolution. So like 50,000 years and more. I mean, humans been around longer than that, like arguably 100 to 200,000. But I just asked for 50,000 years back until today. So this is what it says. Body and strength. Women have wider hips, more fat storage for pregnancy and breastfeeding. Men have more muscle mass, upper body strength for physical labor and defense. Physical labor. That's an important one to remember. Hormones. Women have estrogen for empathy, bonding, and emotional attunement. Men have testosterone. Not anymore, but for risk taking, aggression, status drive. Status drive. Remember that one. Women, long pregnancy, childcare investment. Men, biological incentive to compete for mates. Compete. Remember that. Most guys don't do these things anymore. These differences didn't decide destiny, but they shaped the roles when survival was difficult. Then it goes on to say, men hunted large animals. They were important for group defense and for mobility and risk. Women gathered food and cared for the children, like the vegetables and crops and shit. They're good at social bonding and community organization. And they were also the knowledge keepers, plants, medicine, and shelters. Key points. Both roles were equally necessary for survival. Women often held high social power as food providers. Okay. Then it gives the agricultural civilizations 10,000 years ago to like the 1800s. Land became wealth. Men controlled labor and territory. Large families benefited from work. Women pushed into domestic roles, so they were like inside the house. Religion and laws reinforced male dominance, patriarchy. Men, welfare, politics, property. Women, domestic labor, early education of children, textile economy. And I really do like women being in the roles with children. It's much better than men because men molest way too much. And that's just not funny, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about more. And I'm getting tired of hearing about it. It should be a law that men are not involved in any business with children like under the age of 13. And I'm dead ass serious because that shit's happening way too much, especially with adopted parents. I'm getting tired of hearing about it. Like, seriously. I'll get to that in another book. And then it goes on to the industrial age, and it's like men, factory labor, technical roles, providers, public power, women, textile, factory work, nurses, teachers, clerks, and things of that nature. So from what we hear here, we basically get it. What you see historically when it comes to the difference between men and women. Men are basically to be the providers, protectors, and competitors. Women are said to be the carers, the nurturers, collectors, and maybe even cleaners. Now, by me telling you this, I'm not saying this because I think this is what you should do. I'm not saying women shouldn't work. I'm not saying men shouldn't stay in the house all day. But I'm telling you this because we live in a civilization. And a civilization is basically nature edited by humans to try its best to make it fair for everyone. Or let me not even say fair, to try its best to make it livable for everyone. So maybe in nature it's normal for us in natural times to just kill someone because you're stronger than him. But because we're in a civilization, we basically make that illegal because that's not good for the other person. give him a chance to live too. So that's what laws and stuff are about. That's basically what a civilization is. You try to balance out those things in nature to try to keep things fair so people can just live. It's not to make life good for you. It's so you can just live and try not to be fucked with if you don't need to. Like, it's good to just leave people alone. I'm a big fan of that. So, why did I read those things? Because there's a common misconception with most men nowadays that women have it easier. Now, when guys say this, in my opinion, because a lot of guys are saying it nowadays, YouTube saying it, all this stuff, all these weird fat dudes talking about what women should do and this dude should lose weight him damn self. There's this one guy kind of like, he's always like screaming in the microphone. He got the alarm in the background, like, what? You don't want to do this? Beep, yeah, beep. That dude is extremely obese. He shouldn't be telling anybody what to do before he gets on the treadmill. Like, this dude is extremely obese. Extremely. But anyway, I digress. The common misconception is that women have it easier. Well, let me explain something to you on a scientific basis. And I gotta say, the guys who think women have it easier are men who aren't taking advantage of themselves. 100%. Any guy I heard say that, I guarantee you, makes less money than the average man their age. Promise you. Every man I heard say that. So when I speak to my business friends and stuff, they never say things like that, because they have more of an understanding what's actually going on. And typically when you have money and power, you get women to do things you want. So you're not really so worried about, oh my God, women have it easy. You don't even think about that because you have it good yourself. So here's scientifically why, in your mind or whatever, women have it easy. When it comes to evolution and producing babies and things of that nature, women have a very short time frame compared to men. An extremely short time frame. Sure, they may live longer on average, but they have a very short time frame in comparison to us. So let's say the average person gets they're able to have babies at 15, right? So for men, it's like 15 to 80. But that's 65 years you're able to reproduce, right? For example. Women don't have that long. What do they have? From age 15 to maybe 35 or 40? I mean, I can ask ChatGPT. Let me ask. Okay, let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Hold on, I want to be exactly. So it's between 45 and 55. So let's say 50. So from age 15 to 50, that's 35 years they have, compared to our 65. We have damn near 2 times as long as women to reproduce. 2 times. And to make it worse, forget just the reproduction, the amount of decent males who even want to impregnate decent males. The amount of decent males who even want to impregnate a woman, that's usually, they want, is from, let's say, age 18 to about, I'm being honest, 18 to like, let's say 32. From 18 to about 32. That's a 14-year window she got to get a decent man and get pregnant. Which is how her makeup makes her feel. She wants to get pregnant. She wants to have a baby. Most women do. And she has a very small window. Very small window. Us men, we have a large window. Big window. We have so much time. We can get married over and over again to different, beautiful young women and keep producing children. We could get a new woman every decade for like 4 decades and have a bunch of young, healthy children. But women don't really have that option. And that's another one of the reasons scientifically women look for the best mate possible, because they don't have a lot of time. They don't have a lot of options, considering time. The more time you have, the more options you have. They don't have a lot of options. They don't have a lot of time. They got to do the best they can. So people say, what, 70% of the women want 10% of the guys? That's how it works scientifically. If you're shocked by that, you don't understand evolution. That's what a woman is supposed to want, the best. That's why men typically, I don't know about nowadays, but that's what testosterone is about, is to help you compete to be the best. So in short, if you're a man competing not to be the best, that's your problem. And you're the reason you're in your situation. It's not the women having it easy, it's you. Because if you're a man who are taking advantage of yourself, using your testosterone, using that drive, taking care of yourself, being in shape, being healthy, attractive, your life would be much better than it is today. Using your time wisely to gain more power as you get older, to gain more access to things and to have more things in general. As you got older, using your time wisely, you'd be in a better position. And that's what a lot of men don't do. The misconception is the older you get as a man, the higher your worth goes up. Who lied to you? You could be getting older and nothing changing. You should be worth more than you were 5 years ago every time. And if you're not doing that, you're not taking advantage of yourself as a male. Man the F up. And it's never too late, especially when you're a man. So, we see women have a smaller window to have children, to do the things they want to do genetically, much smaller window. They're way more fragile to add to it. And that's why a lot of them seek protection. A lot of men don't seek protection. Because men, on average, if you put let's say you line up 20 random men, 20 random women, and make them go in a one-on-one fight, who do you think is going to come out the winner, like by how many times? I would say, I think the men are going to win 18 out of the 20 times. What, 90 percentile? I'd say that's about fair. So what does that tell you? Just like us historically, the men are the protectors, providers, and the tough ones with the testosterone, muscle, defense, speed, respiratory system, things made for going out and getting things done. And the testosterone should give you the drive to want to be the best, or at least a really good protector and provider. That's what it's supposed to do. But nowadays we don't have that. Nowadays we're losing it. Nowadays what we're actually getting is a bunch of men who are envious of women. They say things like, oh, they make a lot of money on OnlyFans. If I did that, I wouldn't make a lot of money. What kind of man cares that a woman's getting money? Like, I never understood that. Like, why does it matter if a woman's making money? Is it because you're not? And whose fault is that? It's nobody's fault but your own. You're broke. And that's something men need to understand. There's nobody's fault but your own that you're not a higher tier male than you are now. It's real. You got to man the F up. It's your fault. Whenever I think men are talking negative, or not negative, but complaining about how easy women have it, they should also back it up with, yeah, but I understand. I'm not a high tier male. I don't work out. I don't have a career. Well, it depends on your age. Like, I don't work out. I don't have a career. I waste a lot of my time. I'm obese. I don't take care of myself. Mention those things. Because then you'll see why you care so much about how they're doing. It's like 50,000 years ago, the men are about to go out and go, let's go get some buffaloes to bring home to eat. And one of the dudes says, I don't want to go. And they're like, why not? I was like, because the women don't have to go. That's you. And that's what's happening nowadays. That's what men are becoming. How come the women don't have to go? And it's crazy to me. I was raised with a father. My mother was kind of distant. And these things I'm hearing from these guys sounds foreign to me. I've never been a complainer. Whenever something goes wrong that I don't like, I'm a man. I change it. I fix it. I get on it. If I get a page shut down somewhere, I open up 2 or 3 more somewhere else. And I literally just did that. And it's working out. I make sure that I get what I need. And I'm a protector and provider. I protect my wife. I provide for her. If anyone around me that I fuck with needs something, they know they can always come to me. That's who I am. I'm a man. That's what I do. I'm not one of those dudes who kind of gave up on life and just go day to day. And that's what I'm trying to convince you guys not to do. Don't be a day-to-day dude. Be somebody that the 18-year-old version of yourself can look at and say, nice. Nice. You don't want to be someone that the 18-year-old version of yourself will look at and be like, how the fuck did that happen? You don't. You don't want to be in your deathbed feeling like a failure. Okay. Now back more to the men. Women have it easier. And this is also a question I have to at least the ones who say these things about women who actually have a woman in their life. When they say things like, these men say, oh, it's easy for women, they won't be homeless, or they just get taken care of by a man, which we just went over and why it actually makes sense evolutionary wise. Ask your wife how easy it is for her. Do you think it is easy for her to be with you? Are you some kind of top tier male? You're really attractive. You make a good amount of money. You got a Chanel bag. Because women are very emotional. They want to be the most beautiful, the most luxurious looking. They want to feel they're really taken care of. Now, I'm not saying it's bad for her to be with you, but do you think it's really easy for her to be with you because you're paying the bills? Like, a lot of men brag about things they should do. Like, you're made to be a protector and provider. If you got to brag about things you should do, you're not much of a man. That's what you're supposed to do. Do you know how many dudes over 30 talk about, I pay my own bills? That's what you're supposed to do. But it's because you don't do anything else that you have to brag about things you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go to jail. That's another thing some dudes brag about. I swear to God, I've heard it. You're not supposed to go to jail. You're not supposed to do drugs. You're not supposed to get drunk every fucking weekend. Those aren't flexes. You got to understand that what you do as an adult with your time, especially let's say 26 plus, I understand, like let's say 25 and under, you're going to be wilding out. I think a lot of people are learning things, figuring themselves out, they're wilding out. But everything you do since age 26 should be valuable to your future. And the reason that is because when you're in your 40s and 50s and maybe even upper 30s, you're not going to have the energy or the strength or the capability to do the things you were doing when you were a teenager or 20. You should be making things easier for yourself. So you should be building capital and whatever else you can. So when you're 40 and 50, things are easier for you. Whether it's building a business, whether it's having investments, when you use or learning languages, whatever it is, when you're using your time wisely, it's going to pay off in the future, make it easy for you. You will acquire more worth. And that's how when you get older, your worth basically stays the same. Because women, like we discussed, they decline quickly. They can't have babies around 50 anymore. And not only that, they're usually not even desired after 32. To be honest, by most people, they're not desired after 28. We got all the time in the world until maybe 75? But if you got the money, it don't matter. Doesn't really work like that for women. It's not the same at all. They have a much shorter time for the prime of their lives. We have a much longer time if we actually use our time wisely. And that is a very important difference between men and women. Weak men compare their lives to women's. Just remember, every time a man complains about a woman, especially a woman he's not even with, like, what are you complaining about? That has nothing to do with you. Just imagine 50,000 years ago, niggas chilling, no buildings or nothing yet, in the wild. The men are about to go get some buffalo, bring it home, and the women going to cook it and prepare it. And one of the men go, I don't want to go. Why not? Because the women don't have to go. That's not fair. That's you. That's you. So here's a challenge before I get out of here. This chapter I want to do for men. I want to do this for men. So if you're a man who complains about women, remember this. Look at your life. And when you complain about those women, you can say it. You can express yourself. But after that, I want you to be honest and complain about yourself. Complain about yourself. What would the average woman, if she knew everything about you and she was mad at you, what would she say to get at you? What would she say? Just like you complain about women, life is easy, whatever these stupid complaints are. What would she say about you? And why would she say these things? How do you compare to the average person of your age? When it comes to your net worth, when it comes to your skills, maybe your college degree, maybe your savings, how the fuck do you compare to the average person your age in your country. And if you don't compare to the average person your age in your country, that's your fault, and that's probably why you're salty at women. Because you're not taking advantage of yourself biologically. You're not taking advantage of it. You're sleeping on yourself. You're a dragon. At least you're supposed to be. But you're too busy doing other shit, maybe hanging out, that you now look like a goddamn panda bear. And you're supposed to be a dragon. You're a man with the capability of going out, getting power, and getting shit done. Now, of course, some women can do that too, but it's much less common. When you look at the richest people in the world, a lot of the women on that list got their money from men. I'm not being rude, but that's kind of true, and it's kind of funny. But hey, they did their thing. I'm sure they married those men when they were at their most beautiful age, or at least one of the most beautiful ages, and then they got older, got tired of that man cheating, which is what they do a lot of times, which is, I think, should be expected. I don't know why these guys like agree to normal marriages and they have all that power. To me, that's illogical. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but if you're worth multiple millions of dollars, you should never promise a woman you're only going to be with her. That doesn't make any biological sense. And that's why they keep getting their money taken, because they keep cheating. Didn't Jeff Bezos cheat in public? Oh my God. Anyway, I'll get to that in another, because I don't understand that. I don't understand that. And before I go, I want to give you guys this. It's homework. You gotta watch this documentary. To this day, it's the best documentary I've ever seen. Like, it's the only one I like better than a Fire Festival. It's the best documentary I've ever seen in my life, and I ain't gonna lie, after I watched it, I cried. Only because I then understood myself and I knew I wasn't crazy. Because I've always said the same thing they were saying in this documentary, but people look at me like I'm crazy. The documentary is called, shit, let me get the name of the documentary. I don't want to mess up. I should have got this before. It's called Monogamy. Netflix Monogamy documentary. Okay, and it should still be up there. It should still be up there if I'm not tripping. You guys gotta go check that shit out. Yeah, it's called Explained, right. The series is called Explained, and it's called Monogamy. And I don't want to give it away, but okay, I'll give little spark notes. Basically, it explains that biologically, men are not designed for monogamy, especially men with a lot of resources, or men who are attractive. Like, it doesn't make sense evolutionary-wise. Like, we wouldn't have expanded as a species if dominant, attractive, assertive males weren't spreading their seed. Because if the lazy dudes who just live day to day were spreading their seeds all the time, we probably wouldn't be here. Those aggressive, dominant, capable of being dangerous, strong-minded, healthy, those males need to be the one to spread their seed. And if people are saying, oh, the women are only attracted to 30% of the guys, or 10%, whatever it is, well, that's because a lot of the other guys ain't doing shit. Now, of course, there's some things that they can't help, like height, well, that's usually the one thing, height. But you could still be somebody with short height and good money. Short height and really popular. Short height and really good looking features, nice body and stuff. Because even though girls may say, I only like this, only like that, there's always exceptions. You see what I'm saying? So when you watch this documentary and you see that monogamy is not natural at all, especially for a man, and that what I always told my wife, and what I told all my other girlfriends before her, after the time I got caught cheating, I said, look, I'm not going to be with this one girl. It's not realistic. I'm going to be with other girls, and if that's not okay with you, you should, probably just go. And I've been saying this to girls, and they'd still get angry and they still get mad, and I understand it now as an adult. Like, those girls felt I was a good male, and they thought I was probably one of the best they can get, and they didn't want to lose me. Logic didn't mean much behind their emotions. They're women, they're very emotional. No matter how much you tell them something logically, if their emotions are strong about you, it's going to overpower it. But as a man, you got to learn to control that. We're very, very, very different. But definitely check out that documentary. Great homework. And I'm out, people. Later.